Okay, so so this next chapter, so we're going to start Perek Zayin in Shar Gimel. Okay, this is where it gets extremely heavy. This one and the one following, and then it goes back to being a little more accessible. But let's just rewind a little more. Is what I think he's saying. I'm not 100% sure as to what he's saying, but let's just rewind to where what we're trying to explain, right? So this whole gate, right? Shar Gimel, which was really a continuation of Shar Beis, right? Both of them are talking about the idea of tefillah, right? So in Shar Beis, he focused on the bracha aspect of tefillah, which is right how we connect the creation to the creator, right? Via the prayers and via the words and the letters and whatever, all of the details that he discussed over there. That connection between the creation and the creator. That's what we try to accomplish via avodas Hashem. Okay, because the creation is a synthetic thing and it continuously needs to be re-energized, right? But then he said, that we find when it comes to prayer, the description of Hashem that is used by Chazal is a description called Mokum, the place, right? Why specifically the place, Mokum? Why do we refer to Hashem as Mokum, the place? Right? When Yaakov Avinu comes and he says Vayifka b'Mokum, and he reached the place, and he says that's when they discovered Tfilas Ma'ariv, because that was the place, means he spoke to daven to Hashem. So Vayivka b'Mokum. So why is it in this gate, his main purpose in this gate is to try to explain why is it that when it comes to prayer, Mokum is the description of Hashem that we use, more so than even maybe the name of Hashem himself. Okay? And from there, he went on, he gave us a few warnings that this is, serious, deep stuff, and he wouldn't even speak about it unless, he felt that there was a need for it, etc., etc. But and then he gave us this whole system where there's really two diametrically opposed perspectives. There's our perspectives, and then there is the reality. Our perspective within our existence, if we exist, that means that there is this quote unquote void, right? Let's call it. It's going to redefine that void now, but there's this quote unquote void, right, where Hashem was mitzamtzim himself, right, and he allowed for the creation to exist. And then there is the perspective of Hashem, where everything is, nothing ever changes. Hashvo Gemura, right? Hashem fills everything. Good. And what I think is he wants to now say that really the only. So when it comes to any name of Hashem, we can say Hashem is kind, Hashem is this, that these are all actions that we perceive already within creation. The only relationship we have with Hashem is with Hashem as he is from our perspective, from within creation, or from, in other words, from outside of creation. We call him somebody who sits in the heavens. Heavens meaning somewhere up there outside of the creation, right? But then what he wants to accomplish is that Mokim, the word Mokim, because when we say, the Medrash says that Hashem is Mekoimai Shel Olam, Hashem is the place of the world, right? That Mokim is the only description that kind of unites the two perspectives. Mokim is the only description where we can maintain the idea of speaking to the true oneness of Hashem, which is outside of creation, but at the same time, it's only applicable within creation, because Mokum means Mokum for something, for creation, right? So because outside of creation, there's no prayer, because we don't exist outside of creation, so there's no concept of tefillah or any avodas Hashem, right? So Mokum is going to, what I think is trying to accomplish is to tell us that this, when we are davening, we are bridging that gap of from our perspective and the reality, okay, and that's why it's such a lofty idea. Once you realize that in reality, our existence presupposes a sort of a sort of emptiness, quote unquote, but at the same time, our avoida connects the two perspectives. And he's going to do that via this next chapter, which is very Kabbalistic in nature, which I don't understand. Okay, so now let's see the text. Okay, so we're in Perek Zayin. Okay, the elu beis habeisa bechinas, right? And these two perspectives, right? Again, the perspective, our perspective, and Hashem's perspective. Shemitzido is baruch u'mitzidenu, which is from Hashem's perspective and our perspective. Hein atzmon. These very two ideas are themselves inyan hatzimtzum v'hakav. So in Kabbalistic books, sources, they're in the description of the creation, there are these two ideas. One is called the tzimtzum, which is, let's translate it now as contraction. Hashem contracted himself, was metzamtzem himself. He contracted himself to allow for the bria to exist. The hakav, and the kav is, the word kav means a line, a straight line. So let's call it a diameter, right? So if we think about, the way it is usually, if you pick up any of these kind of sforim, the way it's usually described is that Hashem created this circular void, right? And then there he pierced that void with some kind of a kav, some kind of a small tube or something, and then he began to kind of refill the void, but gradually to allow the different layers of existence to take place. Okay, that's the typical description. He's going to tell us now that description is just, it's a visual aid and nothing more. It's not real. Okay, but then there's something here I still don't understand. Okay, let's see. Okay, but these are the two ideas. The tzimtzum is the contraction, and the kav is the process of refilling the contraction, right? So inyan hatzimtzum va'kav hanizker b'divrei ha'arizal, the ideas of tzimtzum and the kav that are mentioned in the words of Arizal, va'asher mevoyer sham shmitzad hatzimtzum. Now it's clear over there. I'm going to take his word for it. Shmitzad hatzimtzum, that from the perspective of tzimtzum, lo yitzdag boy shum shinui v'chiluk mokon. It's not appropriate to describe any kind of change or difference of place. Milo mata, above and below, ponim v'ocher, forward and backward. Rak hashvo gamura amitis, but only complete and total equanimity, I don't know, hashvo, right? Total oneness. So he's telling me, and I definitely would not understand it that way, but he's saying that from the perspective of tzimtzum, there is no, the idea of change, the idea of difference, the idea of backward, forward, upward, low, up and below, those ideas do not apply in the world of tzimtzum. Okay. Let's see.
There's no gravity. There's no north, south.
This is even before that. I'm not. But let's see. B'chol inyonei hashinuyim, and all aspects of change, v'chiluk hamakoymes, or differences of place, b'chol hashemes v'kinuyim, and all the names and the descriptions of Hashem, kulam ne'amorim, are all said rak metzad b'chinas hakav, can only be applied, can only be said from the aspect of the element of the kav, of this line, the content line. V'ayin b'reish Sefer Oitzer Chaim, and look in the beginning of Sefer Oitzer Chaim, and this usually they quote it over here, but mine doesn't have a quote. Okay, so let's see. I have found the Oitzer Chaim over here. Let's see if I still have it. Oitzer Chaim. I'll read to you from Chabadpedia. Okay. So this is what the Oitzros Chaim says. The Oitzros Chaim says like this: Da, you should know, Kitchilas Hakol, in the beginning of everything, Hoya Kol Hametzius or Poshut V'Nikra Ein Soif. That everything was a simple light called Ein Soif, called infinity. V'lo Hoya Shom Shum Chalal, there was no space. V'Shum Avir Panui, or empty air. There was no space. Ela Hakol Hoya Or HaEin Soif. Everything was the light of the infinite. Ukeshe'ola Beritzoynoi HaPoshut. When it came up in his simple will, Lahatzil Hanatzolim, to diffuse creations, whatever. Lesiba Noidas, for his own reason. Ve'oz, then Tzimtzem Atzmoi Be'emtza Ha'or Sheloi. Then he contracted himself in the middle of his light. B'nekudas Hamerkaz Emtzois Sheboi, in the central point, whatever that means. V'shom Tzimtzem Atzmoi Alatzodin, and so he contracted himself to different sides. V'asvivois, and surroundings. V'nisher Chalal Bein Time, and in the center there was left a void. That's what we call the first contraction of the Hama'atzil of Hashem. And that empty void, hoyu ogul, it was circular, in complete unanimity from all sides. Okay, Ad Shenimtza Olam HaAtzilus, until there then came out this Olam HaAtzilus, which is the highest of the realms. And all the other worlds were built within that space. But the infinite light surrounds it from all sides. Okay, so that's the first description of Tzimtzum in this sefer called Oitzros Chaim. Okay. And there's an illustration. Which looks like this. Okay, anyways, so again, these are very strange sounding things. So you see, so again, I'm confused. Why am I confused? Because, let's read a little more. Umudas, it's known, Shekol Divrei Arizal, that all the words of Arizal, Benistoris, when it comes to these hidden matters, Moshel Hein, they should be only taken as a moshel, as a parable. They should not be taken literally. Okay, don't think that literally Hashem made space within himself. That whole concept doesn't make sense. Okay, so upnimius inyan tzimtzum v'akav, but in reality, the inner depth of these two ideas, the tzimtzum and akav, hakavona, the intent really al elo habeis bechinas hanal, is really to describe these two perspectives that I have been talking about. Shehein be'etzem bechina achas, which is in reality they're all really all one thing, ve'inyan echad legamri, and all and completely one thing. Okay, so again, so if you would ask me, right? So before he told us that Hashem we could look at Hashem in two different ways. There's this perspective of Mesabev Kol Almim, that he surrounds all the worlds. That's our perspective. To us, he's somebody who surrounds the worlds. And then there is a perspective of Memale Kol Alman. He fills all the worlds. Now, if you would have asked me which one of the, I give you, and now what he's telling us, that the idea of Tzimtzum and Nakav, those two ideas are parallel to these very two ideas. Mesabev Kol Alman, Memale Kol Alman. Surrounding the worlds, filling the worlds. So if you ask me which of the two ideas, how to match, if I had to play a matching game, I would say the Kav connects to the Memale Kol Alman, because that's when Hashem is refilling the inner part of the world, right? And Tzimtzum is where he's actually separating, where he's actually going outside of the world. And he's saying really the absolute opposite. He is saying just the opposite. He's saying from the perspective of Tzimtzum is when Hashem fills the world. And from the perspective of Kav is really when you can understand these differences. Okay? So, do I understand how that works? No. The only thing I can understand, which he's going to say later, he's going to say that if you are if you picture a circle, if you're standing on the circumference of a circle, can you say that you're standing on top of a circle or on the bottom of a circle? Or no, those ideas don't make sense. When you are standing on a circumference of a circle, there is no difference about your location. However, if you run a diameter through the circle, okay, and then you're standing on the diameter, so then you can discuss above the diameter, below the diameter, right? Above the equator, below the equator, right? To the right of me. So the kav, the idea of kav, again, so if we're not, so which is, again, I don't understand these things, and that's what he's trying to say. He says, don't think of these things as physical things, but just think of them only as mashalim, ways to explain, right? Ways to explain. So what he's saying, the idea of the kav is to teach you, is to give you the idea of is a marker that allows you to appreciate levels. The idea of the tzimtzum, which is the circumference, is the idea of no levels, of right, because in reality, it's crazy to assume, especially on those levels. Forget it's not possible. It's before we're talking about before any of these space and any space. There's no space, and even in the world of Atzilus, in the world of Bria, anything outside. As soon as you step out of our physical realm, which is there are many layers above it, there's no sense of space. So the whole idea of space is a very physical. It's just an illustration for our very physical minds, but they're nothing but illustrations, which is what he's saying. Again, do I fully understand what's going on? Not at all. Okay.
Sounds very
right, but okay. But I guess again, remember we mentioned already a few times that he's trying to debate certain Hasidic perspectives. So I guess this is where maybe the core argument on their I don't know. Okay, so maybe Chabad the PDA was not the place to look. Okay, right. Anyways, kibeir milas tzimtzum kan. So let's understand what. So don't think that tzimtzum over here means contraction, literally, right? He just said before that he was saying that Arizal speaks in Moshel, right? Kibeir milas tzimtzum kan. The interpretation of the word tzimtzum einay loshen siluk is not to be understood as removal, or ve'etek mimokum l'mokum, or shifting from place to place. Lihiskanes to enter within oneself, lehischaber atzmo el atzmo, to connect oneself to oneself, kaviyach. Lehamtzi mokum ponui chas v'sholom, to create an empty place, chas v'sholom. Right? That's what the Oitzer's Chaim sounded like. Sounded like you're creating an empty place. Saying, no, of course not. That's not at all what's going on. Ella. So now he's telling us, Ella ki inyan shoma b'bereishis rabo soif parshim mem hey. So rather, you should translate the word as it is used in this medrash. V'tzimtzim opaneha v'lo ro'aso hamelach. The lashon over there is v'tzimtzim opaneha. Right over there means she hid her face, and the king did not see her. Right. So over there v'tzimtzim, it's the same lashon v'tzimtzim opaneha. It does not mean that she removed her face. V'tzimtzim opaneha means she hid her face. So over here also. Right, what he's telling us is don't think of tzimtzum as a physical, void creation, but just as some kind of a hiding, right? Okay, fine. Shepirushe shom loshen hester. Sorry, miskipped. Ubeecha rabasi and another medrash and an eicha by the aniha gever when Yirmiyah says I am aniha gever holcho v'tzimtzum paneha achar amud. Right, she went and she hid her face behind the column. Shepirush Shom in both of these midrashim, it's the idea is loshen hester. Tzimtzum means loshen hester, hiding, the kisu and covering. Okay, good. Kein kan milas tzimtzum hainu hester bekisu. So too over here, when we're speaking about tzimtzum, we don't mean real contraction. We mean a hiding of this unity, of that perfect achdus, of that perfect unity of Hashem that does not allow for anything else to exist. V'hakavona, and the idea is she'achduso is baruch shmoi, that the oneness of Hashem, bevechinas atzmusa, when we're talking about its essence, hamemali kol almin, which fills all the worlds b'ashva gemura, in total unanimity or equanimity or whatever the word is, mechanim anachnu b'shem tzimtzum. That's what. See, this I don't understand. That's what we refer to when we say tzimtzum. So I don't understand that, because whether you translate the word tzimtzum as contraction or whether you translate it as hiding, it's still, the way I would understand it, still means that you're hiding that oneness or you're contracting that oneness. He's saying, no, again, he's saying, v'hakavona, the idea is, she'achduso is baruch shmoi, bevechinas hatzmusa, when we're talking about essence, which is mimali kol alman, which fills all the worlds, b'ashva gemura, that's what we call mechanim anachnu b'shem tzimtzum. That's what we refer to when we say tzimtzum.
The idea of a sphere that was surrounding.
Let's see. Let me see. Machmas, because she'achduso yizbarach, because the oneness of Hashem, hamemali kol almin, that fills all the worlds, hu mitzumtzam umustar mehagasagasena, because that oneness is hidden from our perspective, or from our grasp. It is beyond our grasp. So maybe I'm starting to get it. So he's saying that the word tzimtzum, even the word tzimtzum, right? Meaning, of course, it means hiding. Hiding from whom? Hiding from us, right?
Yeah.
So what is he hiding? He's hiding that. I guess I understand. Meaning not. I'm not sure. I guess he's referring to not the after effects of tzimtzum, but the process, the process of tzimtzum. The process of tzimtzum begins. I'm not sure if I can verbalize this, but okay. I don't know if we need to. Let's just keep going. Okay. So whatever it is, the tzimtzum presupposes the hiding of that oneness, right? Without which there is no us. Not without which, with which there is no us, right? Tzimtzum means the hiding of the oneness, which does not allow for us to exist.
Okay.
The hiding of that oneness, which does not allow for us to exist. Okay. And whatever hasaga, whatever grasp, she'anachnu masigim, that we can grasp, mitzias ishtalshlus olomis zel l'mayla mezeh, from the chain, the linkage of the worlds, from this one above that one, b'chinas shoynim, in various levels and elements, mechanim anachnu b'shem kav, that we refer to when we say kav. Kav is already the formation of these different layers and levels of the different worlds. That's what we call the kav. Kav is the process of creation of different layers and different levels. Tzimtzum is the process of hiding the complete oneness, for which does not allow for any difference. Okay, let's go. Shehu ke'ein kav mishtalshel, which is the idea of a linked string or something like that, string path. I don't know. Okay, v'zeh she'omar Arizal. This is what Arizal says. Shemitzad that tzimtzum, that when it comes from the perspective of tzimtzum hainu mitzad atzmus achduso yizborach, from the essence of oneness of Hashem, sheba'oi lomos, that are in the worlds, hamole as hakol, that fills everything. Asher av shemi tonu hu mitzumtzam umustar, even though from us it's hidden right? And it's hidden, covered. But from his essence, there's no up and there's no but down. But only from the perspective of the kav, which is from our perspective, which we perceive all of the spheres and the worlds as emanations from layer to layer to layer. That's only like a kav. That's the layering is the line that we understand. So then we can appreciate layers and levels, etc. Okay, ve'af gam zois, and even though shmitzad tzimtzum, from the perspective of tzimtzum, hainu af shehu is baruch shmei tzimtzum v'histir mehasagaseinu oratz musa achdusa memale koil. Even from the perspective of tzimtzum, where Hashem hid that essence, im kol zel lo yitzdak boy milo matan. Even from in the hiding itself, you can't understand up and below. Af mitzad hasagaseinu, even from our perspective, im hayinu masigim hester shove behashvo gemura b'chol hamekomis. If again, this we're saying that if you're standing on the circumference, meaning you're right, that post tzimtzum there is a hiding. Before the kav, whatever this kav is, before that kav appears, okay, and there's that tzimtzum, so even there, where Hashem hid his essence, post tzimtzum, there is a hiding of the essence. Even there, he's saying you don't know the difference between, there are no layers yet, there's no levels, because it's just, perhaps there's equal hiding, so to speak, but even there you can't understand levels of existence. It's all you right, because it's equally hidden. The oneness, the essence is equally hidden, but there's no difference. And the mashal for that is like what we said before, that if you're standing on the circumference, you don't know, where in the circumference you are. There's no good way to say I'm here, unless you have a point from which you can now demarcate, right? If you have a kav, then you can say, I'm 30 degrees above the diameter, 30 degrees below the diameter. But if you don't have any kind of, so there's no way for you to identify where exactly you're located on the circumference. Okay. Ach mitzad kav, however, from this perspective of the kav, of this diagonal of the diameter, haynu shemiachar shegozer ritzono yisborach, that once Hashem had decreed shgam achar hatzimtzum v'hester, even post tzimtzum v'hester, ein hester shove l'hasagasenu, this hiding should not be equal to our grasp, b'chol ha'makoyim v'shove, in all of the places equally, v'anachnu masigim hasagas shoinim, and that we appreciate different layers, b'chiluk b'chinas protim, in various layers of meaning, derech histalshlus kein kav oir, just like a chain that is rolled out like a beam of light. Hameir hasogaseinu lahasik is galus oire, which enlightens our mind to grasp onto his light. Is barach ba'olomis v'koyches chalukim, in various forces and worlds. Shekol oilam v'koyach hayoser elyon is galus oire laki bo yoser. So then we understand that the world that's closer, that's higher, is closer to Hashem, and so more enlightened, more the light of Hashem shines there brighter, right? So only from the perspective of kav, there are layers of closer to that tzimtzum, right? Further to that tzimtzum, okay? V'gam hasagoseinu his galus oire yisborach b'zeh ha'olam hu gam kein b'vechinas u'madrega shon b'mekoyim chalukim. And even our grasp in this lower world has also layers. K'moy shemon Rabbi Seinu zal eser kedushos v'gimel ma'achanos mekudoshes zu l'mayla mizu. Just like so, right? There's Eretz Yisrael, there's Yerushalayim, there's Beis Hamikdash, there's Azor. So we see that even within our physical world, there are layers of kedusha. Okay, wow. Meaning these are the footprints. Meaning the fact that we, in our physical sphere, we have layers of kedusha. It's because this is where the loftier world, so to speak, left their footprint. Understand? And it's why we can it's like the fossil. It's like, sometimes you find a fossil that's 100,000 years old. Sometimes you find a fossil that's 1 billion years old. But it's so over here too. When you're just walking on the street, you're walking on the street. When you walk into a shul, it's like you stepped into a little portal that connects you to within the physical world. You're in the same physical world, but by stepping into the shul, you kind of allow yourself to be connected to a higher realm, even though you didn't really leave this realm, because now you're in that fossil territory, right? So yeah. So fine. Oz mitzad kav or hasagoseinu is galus or is barach. So then again, from the perspective of this kav, we can appreciate different layers of light, which is the different layers of revelation of his light. Who sheyitzdak bo milo mata. Again, of that, then we can appreciate that this light is loftier than that light, or then we can appreciate layers. Again, all the differentiation of places, as they are explained in the words of Arizal. Okay, v'chenyin and mekrois, and the same idea applies to all the psukim when we say to Hashem Kel Elyon, He is the God that's above. Elokeinu b'shamayim, and He's the God of the heavens. Yoshev b'shamayim, He sits in the heavens. V'harbek yoytzen, many similar, right, such descriptions. Shemitzad asagaseinu yitztak loimer. From our perspective, we could say sheb'mokem zeh nikar yoyser, that in this particular place, we it's more visible, more recognizable, gamatzleinu, even by us, his galus or elakusoi, the revelation of Hashem's light is baruch shmo b'mokem acher, right? More than in another place, right? So again, so if you were in Eretz Yisrael, over there you can see the hand of God, so to speak, what we call the hand of God. So over there we see that. That's like that fossil example, that we have a sense, we have more of a sense of Hashem's presence. That the true revelation of Hashem's light is really hidden from our grasp. When he stood in the place of the Mikdash, he says, this is the house of God. What does it mean, the house of God? That over there we have a grasp, even to a physical, to flesh and blood, to a very thick and mind of a flesh and blood. That here we can sense some kind of godly presence. Even though over there it's only some kind of a revelation of Hashem's light. Okay, all right. Let's keep going. I just want to get out of the jungle and get into some place we could actually grasp. Anyways, and this is what he means when we read before that there was an empty, right? A cholol, this void was created. It doesn't mean the actual void. Again, it's going to get more complicated. That the idea of tzimtzum is to allow for the revelation of the kelim, of the vessels. Okay, we'll just move on. That his will decreed from his reading, which is hidden by him, lahastir or achdus atzmuso, in order to conceal his one essence, the essence of his oneness, is baruch bezeh hamokum, in that place, meaning in the place of tzimtzum. Shiur amidas hoilomas ve'abriyas kulam, in order to allow the creation of the worlds and all the creations. Hester otzum, an incredible concealment, lahamtzeli deizeh inyan nifla kazeh, in order to allow to create such an amazing creation. She yisra v'yusag mitzius and lo'omai, that it should appear that there exists a whole universe of creations, v'koiches, and different forces, ein misper, without number, derech hadroga, with various layers and levels, v'ishtalshlos, lehoyer bahem his galus oireis baruch, and then to shine his light through all those layers, oir daka, a very fine light, b'shir v'diktuk otzum, in an incredible measure, v'derech masakim in a hidden way in ketz and without end. That there should also then exist places that are not pure, and also forces of tuma, klipos, they should also to allow for existence of evil in the world, so to speak. That it should appear to such a degree that it's completely actually void and empty of Hashem's presence. We can only grasp a rishima, a footprint, very fine, small footprint, or muat, and tiny light came kav derech moshel, which is like a small beam, which is again only an illustration. Ad shebeagiyah derech seder adrogas ma'masokim harabim el koiches atachtonim koiches atuma v'ara. Okay. Enis galus oires baruch nika klal asagaseinu v'zeh shom l'shom she'akav ha'or lo higiya at kotze atachton. And this is what they also say over there, that this kav did not pierce all the way through. It didn't fill up, meaning whatever, right, if the kav is refilling Hashem's presence back into that void, it did not completely fill it up, because if it would completely fill it up, then it would return to that pre-tzimtzum state, and that would be pointless. It did not connect to the other side. This is clear to somebody who understands, which is clearly not us. Okay, and really the tzimtzum and the kav, they're all one. It means to say, even in the place of all the worlds and all the creations, everything is really full of only His essence, and that's it. Even before, as it was before the creation. But it is hidden, it's concealed. It's only in concealment. It is removed from our grasp. So meaning we're right now sitting, and we're not really. Everything is filled from Hashem, but we have no grasp within ourselves to attach ourselves completely to that oneness of Hashem, to that essence of Hashem. So that we can only appreciate the creation and Hashem's light in it only via that layering, via that levels. Wow. I mean, I'm getting some of it, but it's be impossible to verbalize. It'd be like, well. Okay. וזה שאומר שם בשער עיגולים ויושר ענף בייס שהקו חוט האור לא נמשך ונספש תקף עד למטה אלא לאט לאט. It doesn't, this string, this beam of light does not pierce all the way, but rather descends slowly in order to create all of these layerings. B'shir meduktak, an incredible measurement. And then somebody who understands and does understand, so if you now have this chapter in your mind and you go back and you study Arizal, then you'll have a better appreciation of what Arizal is saying there. So because you can't really fully explain all of his words there. Okay, well, we'll start the next chapter and then we'll stop. Okay, therefore, okay, so after having said all of this, that in reality there are these things, tzimtzum, which is again the hiding of Hashem's essence, which is beyond any comprehension, and the kav, which creates again, so the kav creates our ability to detect Hashem's presence via these footprints. That's really what the Kav is. The Kav is it allowed not only for the Bria to exist, the Kav also allowed for us to grasp Hashem's presence via the little lights that He left along the way of the Kav. So Kav is the ability for us to sense Hashem in the only way for us to sense Hashem. Okay, so that's why everything that we appreciate is on this level of Kav. V'lechein, therefore, nesar hachakira v'hizboinus b'mehus inyan and tzimtzum. And that's why really to fully study and analyze the concept of tzimtzum, that's prohibited. K'mosh kosav Arizal. Okay, K'mosh kosav Tilias. Arizal himself writes that tzimtzum can only be, post tzimtzum, we understand why it has to exist. We can understand the world post tzimtzum, but the reason for tzimtzum we can't understand. The fact, I mean, it's obvious. Okay, we're not allowed to contemplate this at all. To truly understand what does it mean that Hashem is the place of the world. This is where we're coming back to this mokam, to this idea of mokam. That do we truly understand that Hashem is mekoyma shloilam? We understand that He is, but how that is, we don't fully understand. How everything at the same time is completely equanimous, whatever the word is, and at the same time there are these layers. And the truth is, this is included. The Gemara says that you cannot. Right, the Gemara says that the Torah begins with the letter Beis. Right, the word Bereshis in the beginning begins with the letter Beis. Why the letter Beis? So the Gemara makes this drasha because you're not allowed to darshan what's above the Beis, behind the Beis, or below the Beis. Right, Beis is like a bracket. The letter Beis is like a bracket. So it tells you if Bereshis and on, that's where we understand. Before the Bereshis, before the beginning, that's what's behind, what's above, what's below, that's what we don't understand. And that's what he's saying, that the same idea, that's what really tzimtzum is. Tzimtzum is the before the base. Okay? Alright? From the Pasuk says in Dvarim, Pasuk says, when you ask about the early days, from the day that Hashem created man. So the Medrash says on that, V'yata shoyel before that, meaning the Pasuk says, when you ask about the first days from the moment that Hashem created mankind, so good, that you should ask about, but you cannot ask before that. Okay, he's going to explain a little more on this idea, but okay, we're going to have to stop here. So what do we get out of this? We got out of this that again, I think that this is this idea that our service to Hashem is going to be in this very almost fine line where we're davening to the Mokkah, to the one Hashem, because that's our faith, monotheism, right? We're davening to Hashem as He is one, but yet we're within the world where He's kind of like where He's without. So Mokum is the word that allows us to address Hashem as both the surrounder and the filler of the world without truly understanding the concept, but at least we can address the oneness of Hashem in its proper way. And that's when we say we davening to the Mokum, to the place, which is the place that created the Tzimtzum. It's not Hashem post Tzimtzum. It's Hashem that created the Tzimtzum, which we don't understand, but we understand that it is there.